Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Edo. I'm part of the team working on the knowledge token backup system in line with our grants for the IED hackathon. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the system before we go to the code demo. So we're tasked with building a system that allows us to get reliable backups from the knowledge token ICP canisters. Now these backups are stored in an Octane DB and the data is verified using signed canonical payloads, and the system should allow for repeatable restores in case of downtime. Now, there are two components in the system. We have the backup canister, which was written in Motoko. Its job is to orchestrate the backup from the other knowledge token ICP canisters. Then it signs the payload using the ECDSA sign and verification. Then it also maintains local history of the backup and of the restores. While on the other hand, we have the backup server, which verifies the signature and confirms that the data is actually accurate and correct. Then it is equipped with noise protection and also other canister policies. And what this server does is that it allows us to persist backup and also export and returns the data for restore. So now to get started, there's a section down here for getting started. We have you need to set up your environment data, and then this is the steps to get started. I already have my system running, so I'm just going to go over to the UI. Now, this is the backup dashboard showing us the data that is in the backup server. And as you can see, since we just deployed, there is no data there. So if we go to the canisters page, we'll be able to see all the registered backup canisters that are active and the ones that are not active. And we have the option to register a new backup canister. And by doing this, we'll override every other backup canister that is existing here. Then we also have the backup page where we can see the backup history of the data in the server. And this is the canister sync status that shows us if the on-chain backups match the server record. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to register a backup canister, the deployed one. I have one here, and this is it. So copy the canister ID. Then we are going to copy the canister public key. We need this to verify the signature that the signature that the canister sends to the server. So once we have that, save, we have the canister registered. So the next thing we are going to do now, we are going to populate the KT server, the KT ICP canisters with dummy data so that we can test the backup. So the first thing, we have some test functions that you can see, yes, populate the KT canisters. So just need to authorize this since I'm calling this from the Candid UI. Then the next one, test. Okay. Yeah, so our on-chain data has been populated. And the next thing we are going to do, we are going to see if we can trigger a backup. So let's go to the backups page, and as you can see, currently it is synced. So let's do that and wait. And yeah, confirmed. Yeah, so we can see this is the backup ID that was created, the timestamp, which is now, the number of items, and yes, the hash and the like each section, the users canister, the certificate canister, and the NFT canister. So let me show you how to restore this backup data. To restore the data, we need a fresh on-chain state as we cannot override existing blockchain data. Because if we try doing that, it's going to fail. Cannot override on-chain data due to the fact that this data already exists here. So what we are going to do is that we are going to restart the canisters with a fresh state. So to do that, we're going to go back to our VFX implementation. We're going to stop it, and we will deploy a new one. This is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause the video and continue from there. All right, you can see that the deploy is complete. So now let's go back to the app, and if we reload, you'll notice that it is no longer in sync due to the fact that the on-chain record is a clean state. Now, ideally, in ideal situations, let's say in production, would require that you deploy a new backup canister, like a new backup canister, and you get the public key of that backup canister, then you go back to register so that you can have access to the backups that are in the server. But in this case, and in some cases, you might not want to use a new backup canister, so we still have access to the old canisters, like if we redeploy on it. then we'll be able to check and see that okay, the nonce is 0, and if we come here, you can see that the nonce is 1. So now, due to this disparity, verifications or signature verifications would not succeed. But ideally, you'd have to deploy a new canister, a new backup canister, then register that backup canister, then continue like the way we did the first time. But for now, I'm going to reset the nonce so that the we'll be able to verify the signatures of the canister. And as you can see now, the nonce is 0. So now let's go back to our backups and now try to sync. To sync, you need to verify. We need verification also. So now let's try to sync the data and yeah. Yes, it is synced now. So we can confirm that the on-chain data and the off-chain data match. Now we are going to try to restore. But before we can restore, we also need to update the record of the backend canister. Now this backend canister requires us to store the backup canister. Let me check here. Setup, yeah. Now usually when we register a new canister, it does that for us. But in this scenario, since we are not registering a new canister, we need to do that manually ourselves. So copy the admin, and just because we are playing off-chain, and yes, it is registered. So now we can restore. So let's go to our backups, and okay, let me just show you another like point of proof to show you that there's no data. So you can see empty. If you come here, get NFTs, empty, and get digital certificates, empty. So now we are going to restore. And okay, the restore has been triggered, and let's go back to our application to confirm that the restore was successful. And all NFTs, user records have all been generated, minted, and completed. So yeah, that's basically an overview of the backup system for the knowledge token ICP canisters. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a good day.